Hey everyone, I'm Sam from BioCosplay. Today we're taking a look at the SH Figuarts Vegeta 24,000 power level. This is Vegeta from Namek, and this figure was a P Bandai exclusive. So if you didn't pre-order it, it may be a little bit difficult to track down. It might be a little more expensive, but hopefully this video will help you decide if you want to try to pick it up. Here's a look at the packaging. It's got a blue background to match Vegeta's outfit. There's a photo of the figure on the front here. It says Vegeta 24,000 power level on the side. On this side, that same text. A couple more photos of the figure in black and white on this side. Photo on the bottom, and then some poses of the figure on the back. Here he is out of the package. My initial thoughts are that he looks appropriately wide and his hair is exaggerated in a way that works well for when he was on Namek. I don't have any other Vegetas with the armor with the shoulder pads. The closest one I have is the Dragon Ball Super Vegeta. But you can see here, this new one's quite a bit wider, and the hair is much more exaggerated. Taking a closer look at the details, really enjoying the swoop on this hair sculpt. It's very pointy and appropriately Vegeta. The face looks really good. The eyes are larger than the other Vegetas I have, at least. The plastic on the Scouter looks very clear. You can see his eye through it. It looks really nice. The paint on the Scouter is very clean. Coming down to the chest, the skin tone is painted on the top of the chest here. It's relatively clean. There's a couple spots around the edges that could have maybe used another coat. If you really look for it, you can kind of see the blue peeking through just a tad. But I think it's still pretty good. It's not super noticeable unless you really get in there and try to look for mistakes. The shoulder pads are painted nicely. It would have been nice to have these lines on the shoulder pads painted or a wash over them to bring those out a little bit more. Same with the armor on the chest and stomach. Just a little bit extra paint to highlight the different panels would have been nice there. Down at the arms, I like these shoulders. They're large and exaggerated. Makes him look a bit imposing. He's got the gloves that are painted nicely. And then down to the pants, not really any paint here, it's just blue. And looking at the back of the figure, the sculpt here is also nice. Main downside, not really a ton of paint. On to articulation. There is unfortunately a ball hinge at the neck. I prefer a double ball peg, but we'll make do with the ball hinge. So looking up, you can look up this much with just the hinge in the neck, and then just a smidge more with the ball joint down at the neck. There is some gapping here though. And then looking down, you can touch his chin to his chest. So a decent amount of range down. He does have quite a bit of side to side tilt, even with that ball hinge positioned going forward to back. That's mostly in the neck, but as you can see there is some pretty extreme gapping going on. I don't know if they could have solved that maybe by having this neck piece come further down into the body. It kind of just cuts off flat right where it connects to the body. At the shoulders, these shoulder pads are on a ball hinge. I didn't mean to pop this off, but now we can see what it is. So there's a little ball hinge back here. So these will rotate and move out of the way. And then there's a butterfly joint in here. This is a floating cap. The arm is on a ball hinge. The ball goes into a socket, and then that socket goes down into the body. So put the shoulder pad back on here. With all that, the arms can raise up this much, and you can kind of finagle the shoulder pad back into place, but it is going to be disconnected a little bit. The rotation is only impeded by the shoulder pad. That will move out of the way, but the further you rotate it, the more disjointed the shoulder pad's going to be. That butterfly joint, you can bring the arm out so he can reach across the chest a little bit better. There's a bicep swivel. double jointed elbows that work pretty well. And then the standard ball hinge at the wrist. At the torso, there's a ball peg at the diaphragm and one at the waist. So bending forward just at the diaphragm, doesn't go forward a ton. And back, also not a ton. With the waist though, doesn't get much better range there. And back, also not a ton of range. So pretty limited leaning forward and back on this one. There is rotation at both of those joints and a little bit of leaning side to side. At the hips, these will only go out about 45 degrees, not the best range there. He will kick forward this much, and he can also kick back really well. This is the older butt design where they don't have the sculpted butt cheeks, so you can rotate the leg back a bit more. There is a thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and then at the ankles, Vegetas normally have pretty terrible ankle articulation. Let's see if this one's any different. The ankle can move forward this much, back this much. There is some ankle pivot. The setup here is a double ball peg and a toe hinge that's pretty stiff and it's decent. It doesn't get the most range out of it, but it looks alright. And since it stops there, it should be pretty decent for balancing on the toe. Not the best ankle articulation. I feel like it's a little bit better than some other Vegetas though, so I can't complain too much. It does get a bit disjointed moving it forward. I'm mainly disappointed in the torso articulation. You're not going to be able to get a lot of range out of that. For accessories, this is the face that comes on him in the package with the Scouter. The Scouter is removable, and he comes with an ear that's on one of the other faces in the package. You can see a bit of a seam where the ear slots in. It's pretty decent though. I like that you have the option to do either the Scouter or the ear. So here are the 3 additional face plates. 1 angry gritted teeth face, 1 yelling face, and 1 smirking face. These are all great. I love how expressive they are. The yelling face is probably my favorite here. The paint on these is all very clean. The eyes look great. The tongue and mouth on the yelling face look really nice. And the little lines on the face are super clean. For hands, these fist hands come on him in the package. It also comes with some open, flat-palmed hands. A pair of hands with the fingers curled so you can power up those Gallic Gun or Final Flashes. And a pair of splayed open finger hands. And his final accessory are some crossed arms. To attach these, we just pop off the arms at the shoulder. They're on a ball joint. And then we can pop in crossed arms, hopefully relatively easily. Okay, those are relatively easy to pop in off camera. On camera, I was just struggling with the butterfly joint sinking into the torso a little bit, so you just have to make sure that's pulled out some, and then you can pop them right in there. These are sculpted pretty nicely. I like the way they have the hands tucked under the arms. So a pretty good crossed arm accessory. Overall for the accessories, it would have been nice to have an energy effect of some sort, either a Gallic Gun or Final Flash. I don't remember which one he uses in this form. Could be both. I like the faces a lot though. For a quick head swap, here he is on the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan body. I think this one's the best head swap out of the Vegetas I have. Otherwise, any of these heads or faces aren't really going to match this skin tone super well. The new one has a bit more of a peachy skin tone, where the other ones are a bit more pale. My Majin Vegeta head doesn't really want to pop off without significant force, so I'm not going to force it right now. Here's what that faceplate would kind of look like on there. Again, the skin tone doesn't match super well. And then for this Dragon Ball Super Superhero Vegeta, the peg hole on this head is a little bit smaller, so it's not going to fit on there easily. Could maybe use some blue tack if that's something you want to do. For size and comparisons, Vegeta's standing at about 5 inches to the top of the head and a little over 6 inches to the top of his hair. Here he is with my other Vegetas, Dragon Ball Super Superhero Vegeta, Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Vegeta. I actually had the head swapped on these two at the beginning of the video and forgot I'd swapped them, and Majin Vegeta. So you can see this new one is a little bit shorter and much wider than the other ones. I actually got Majin Vegeta relatively recently, and I never did a review on that one, so if you want to see a review of that figure, let me know in the comments. Here he is next to a few other Dragon Ball figures. Dragon Ball Super Superhero Goku, Krillin, and the new Gohan figure. I have a review up of that figure if you want to see that. Link in the description. Then for a couple of domestic figures, here's the Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Nightcrawler and NECA Last Ronin Raphael. Overall, for the aesthetics, I really like the new faces, hair, and just the proportions in general. I do wish there was a wash or some shading or anything to bring out some of the details of the figure. Also, some effect parts would have been nice. The articulation is a bit limited, especially in the torso, which will probably prevent me from having this be a figure that I have on my desk to pose a bunch. But I do think it'll look really nice on the display, and I'll definitely love seeing that super exaggerated yelling face. I'm looking forward to getting Kui from P Bandai as well, so I can pose them together. That one's also going to have some silly faces. So I think if you like this version of Vegeta, I'd still recommend it, just for the new faces alone. I don't know that I'd personally pay too much extra over retail if you weren't able to pre-order it, but hopefully this does help you decide if that's something you want to do. So let me know if you pre-ordered this figure, and if you have yours, what do you think of it? And if you didn't pre-order it, is this one you're going to try to purchase secondhand or from one of the websites that charges a little bit more? I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.